on air live at reInvent, and this is part of our Startup Spotlight, where we've got the folks from Cape Privacy here. So let's do some intros. My name is Jillian Forde, and I'm a Startup Solutions Architect.
Hey everyone, my name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a Senior Technical Trainer with AWS Training and Certification. Just kind of hanging out with my buddy Jillian here.
Yeah.
And
Hi, I'm Gavin Uhma, co-founder and CTO at Cape Privacy.
Hey, I'm Ben DeCoste, co-founder and engineering lead at Cape Privacy.
Fantastic. So tell everyone, what is Cape Privacy?
Cape is a platform for developers to easily encrypt data and process it within a secure environment.
that sounds important.
Yes.
Sounds very important. You're doing important work. What are your customers using it for? Like, what kind of data?
I mean, it's any developer who has sensitive data. We encourage developers to encrypt the data at the point of collection, right? So in the browser, in a mobile app, the second you get it, encrypt it right away. If you encrypt it right away, client-side, it doesn't matter what network you send it over, it doesn't matter where you store it, at that point it's protected throughout its cloud journey. Then the next step is you want to process the data, so you should process it within a secure enclave, which is an isolated compute environment where not even a system admin has access to the data. So the data remains confidential the entire time it's being processed.
So kind of stripping away permissions and the ability for people to access the data, keeping it encrypted end to end throughout its entire lifecycle.
Yeah.
If you look at the process today, it's very complex for a developer to manage keys, to choose an encryption library, what sort of encryption cipher are they going to use. Then they need to have a KMS, they need to establish KMS policies.
Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
lot of work. And
Yeah.
You know those
trying
like cartoon images where like you get bonked on the head, you see the birds? I got that going on right now.
It's exactly right. And with large enterprises, it's cross-team, right? You need one team like SecOps to establish a key policy. You need DevOps to actually provision the KMS. And then you need a developer to choose libraries. And you need a security team to review those libraries. And so we're trying to remove all of that and say any developer can encrypt. You don't have to manage keys. You don't have to manage the infrastructure. And you can process your data within this secure environment.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So Ben, can you give us, I guess, like a high-level overview of like how does like Cape Privacy actually make the encryption part easier for developers?
Yeah, so we have a demo that we can show that
That'd be awesome.
illustrates that. So here we have just a website, but you could think of this as like anywhere that data is created. So that could be an iPhone, an Android phone, a website, anything and any type of data. Here we're streaming mouse events and encrypting them in real time, so you can see all of the data that we're generating and the encrypted results that comes out of it.
The importance of client-side encryption in this way is that that's happening directly in the browser. There's no interaction with the server, and it can work offline. So we have use cases with customers where their data is actually offline, it's siloed.
Yeah.
So you can Cape encrypt that data in a silo and then move it to the cloud.
Yeah.
So I can imagine like some pretty edge cases for those, but also some pretty common ones. Like I, years and years ago, was in the military, and sometimes we worked remotely to the point where we didn't have internet accessibility. So working offline and still encrypting it end to end is important for the military applications or Doctors Without Borders, I'm sure. Are there any customers that you work with specifically that you want to mention?
We're not going to mention any customer names today, but we can mention a couple use cases, particularly the three big industries are financial services, healthcare, and government, right?
Oh, yeah,
and that's where all the
Makes
sensitive
sense.
regulated data is, right?
Yeah.
We do want to encourage any developer who's just collecting sensitive data that they're worried about to use Cape to Cape encrypt it up front, right? And if you think about it today, for any developer to really focus on data security, it's a lot of work. It's basically a full-time job, right? And if you're a lone developer or even a developer on a team, you should be focusing on the core value proposition of your application, right? And we've seen the unbundling of SaaS, right? Like whether it's Stripe for payments or Okta for authentication, but we don't have that for data security today. So we hope Cape can fill that gap.
Yeah, we see people all the time, like no one's going to use your application because you get security right, but they'll definitely not use it if you get it wrong.
That is 100% true. And I know, Gavin, you were talking about Nitro Enclaves. Can you tell us more about like how Nitro Enclaves kind of fit with Cape Privacy?
Yeah, so first of all, we want to demystify the idea of a Nitro Enclave. So EC2 is backed by the Nitro system, right? And the Nitro system is the thing that safeguards your EC2 instance in the cloud from somebody else's EC2 instance in the cloud.
Separation, yeah.
A Nitro Enclave further provides isolation to a virtual machine that is carved out of one of your own EC2 instances. So if you have, let's say, 8 gigs of RAM in your EC2 instance, you would carve out, let's say, 6 gigs of that memory into a Nitro Enclave. So the Nitro Enclave, the Nitro hypervisor carves out this secure, isolated environment that has no network, it has no disk, and it has no interactive access. So even an admin on the root EC2 machine has no access to this, this isolated VM. And so whatever you do within that VM, which is anything you can do on an EC2 instance, right? So it's very functional, but anything you do within that VM remains confidential.
That sounds super complex. Do I have to worry about that as a user?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not of a user of Cape.
So Cape is demystifying all that, removing me as a user away from all the complexities, and simplifying it.
If you're interested in the security, we want you to dig into the documentation to know how it works. But the average developer, we want them to be able to trust Cape. One of our favorite quotes from a customer is that they said, Cape for us is where we offload 98% of our data security. And that's how they view us. And that's where we want to be.
And I'm on your website now that says what happens in Cape stays in Cape, and I love that. It's offline security and everything. And for security-minded people, you probably are managing encryption keys, and just it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
It makes it easy. I mean, key management, even establishing a new key within KMS and the policies and everything else, it's scary because you just can't get it wrong. You know?
Yeah. I'm excited to play around with it.
Yeah.
Is there a trial that I can try?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can sign up directly on the webpage, capeprivacy.com. You can go to capeprivacy.com/signup, or our landing page. You can see the sign up button in the top right.
The bright one? The bright pink one?
Exactly, yeah. I would also recommend people checking out docs.capeprivacy.com as well to get started and see what it's all about.
And what's cool is this is a 5-minute quick start guide, so I can get signed up in a couple minutes, a couple clicks. Click on the bright pink button, go to capeprivacy.com, I heard you say that, and then do the 5-minute quick start guide. I might do that tonight from my hotel room. I might play around with it.
Please do it. Please do it. You can join our Discord as well. Our team's hanging out there, so we get people joining, asking questions, and we love helping and getting to know the users and the use cases.
Fantastic. So does someone need, I guess, security expertise to really be able to take advantage of Cape Privacy?
No.
No, not at all. That's really the point. Like, as we make applications and we kind of level up and want to take them to that next level, the sort of laundry list of all of the things that you need to do that aren't really related to your application around security and the value that you provide, unrelated to security, just gets so long. And people hire entire teams of developers that focus just on that, and we want to enable any developer to be able to self-service themselves in that area.
Wow, I love it. This is so exciting. I mean, I love how easy it is to actually read through the documentation, so I'm sure a lot of developers are going to be really excited to get started trying this. So any last words of how they can get started, advice for them to get started?
You can log in with Cape, and then you can immediately just start encrypting data. We have Python libraries, JavaScript libraries, Go libraries, and we have a command line tool as well. So it's very accessible. You can build it directly into your applications. The moment you encrypt data, or the moment you collect data, you should encrypt it. That's what you should do. That's the safest way. And then it doesn't matter what cloud journey it goes on, that data is protected.
And pricing-wise, I'm looking at your website here. So personal, it's $0 just to get started.
It's $0 today.
And then you can move into more advanced tiers, I guess.
Yeah. So our Pro plan will give you more minutes of compute time and more machines with more memory and more CPU. But by default, it's just free. Yeah.
I gotta say, you've made it so easy for everyone just to get started.
Yeah.
Go to the website, capeprivacy.com. Click on the bright pink sign up button. Check out the 5-minute startup guide. You have some sample code and getting started stuff, and we can get started for free, and then eventually graduate into the right pricing package for us.
I appreciate that. A lot of what we're providing is just that ease of use. We spend so much time on ease of use, so I appreciate that.
You know what? You've made this whole session very easy. So thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here,
Yeah,
Gavin,
thanks so much
Ben.
for having us.
This is fantastic. Stick around, we've got more coming up on AWS On Air today.